learning to hear his voice and give whatever part of yourself.
Yes.
It's like he told me one time, I don't want your money, I want you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, we're going to hopefully bring this world to a knowledge where everybody in this world cares about everybody else more than their self. And that's not possible with human beings, but with God, it is possible. He can create that within us. He is going to create that nature within us. We are not going to create that nature within ourselves. And the truth be known, I believe that's what God considers creating man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it means forming my cell structure and everything. I think when God talks about forming man and creating man, it's bringing man to the upright position of loving others more than himself. And when he sees us loving ourselves more than others, he sees us as still walking on our knuckles.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there's a hieroglyphic picture. It's all part of looking and understanding that his final goal for us is, after we have endured selfishness, after we have gone through hard times, hatefulness, war, the things we're seeing in the world right now, it is going to help us through contrast to understand what peace, beauty, love, and goodness are. And the only way you can know those things is to have gone through the opposite of them. That's like you don't know how good seeing is until you're blind. You don't know how good eating is till you've been hungry. And until we can understand that, then we're going to have to continue to go through some of the things we're going through in this world. But I do want to tell the people, do not be afraid of what's happening in the world. I know it's scary sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But God is in control. Yes, I've had fear. We're not going to play the games. When Josh and I talk, we're going to be real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to make you think that I'm something or I don't have fear. I'm just as afraid as you are. There's times when I have fear and I have hardship and I'm without finances. I know what those times are like, sickness, all those things. But unlike what religion told us, that those things were not of God, and if you had them, you had done something bad and God was punishing you, I actually see it the worst. The other way around. Jesus only loved, only did good to others, and he went through the worst possible situation.
Yeah.
And he's our picture.
Yes.
He's our example. He's our hieroglyphic picture of what's going on with us in this world. I woke up this morning and was thinking about how this world is really not that much different than the world Jesus grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in a very similar place in this. There was war and strife and religion and all the things we have. But I think it's a wonderful picture to be able to have something to look at when you have that fear. And second of all, realize that God will use that fear to create love in you. You have to have them. And even though we have to endure it, in the end, it will have been worth it.
There's no question about that, man. There's no question about that.
That's awesome stuff, man. It's good stuff. Hey, we'll get better and better at this as we do it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Josh and I were talking. We want to make this where it's real. We don't want it to sound rehearsed. We want to be able to talk. And y'all bear with us because we're asking the Lord to really give us a spirit of freedom, to not be rehearsed, to not get everything preliminary done, but to just talk and let the Spirit flow and say what he wants to say. This is about God.
Right.
Now, men are important. God has to have a way to manifest himself. He has to have a house to live in.
Mm-hmm. A temple, as it were.
Exactly. But it's, it's like, which is more important, the altar or that which is laid upon the altar? Well, they're of equal importance. God needs us as much as we need him.
See, now that's a very challenging thing right there, and that's something I believe in, and it resonated a lot to me when you said it a while ago, many years ago when we first started talking about this. Now, I've had this conversation with several people, and that's very threatening to them. No, God doesn't need us. God doesn't need us at all. But, we are created in his image. And if we need him, he needs us. And if someone asked me, they said, why are we created with free will? And I said, well, because we were created in his image, and God has free will.
Exactly. Well, and it's like you said, for God not to need us, do I need my body? We're his vehicle.
Yes.
Now, as far as the wisdom and knowledge, no, he doesn't need us in that aspect.
Yeah, of
but
course.
You have to have a manifestation. You know, I can have a computer program and a keyboard and everything, and I can have all kind of ideas, but until I have a monitor to manifest those through, I'm not going to be able to do it. You see what I'm saying?
That's a great analogy.
That's what we are. We are his monitor. And monitors don't decide what's coming through them. Monitors have what the person who created them to be goes through them. And that's why it says over there, we were talking a minute ago about he creates us. You know, we've always pictured in our carnal human minds a God standing on a cloud, looking down at Adam, pointing his finger, you know, creating man. And that's good. That's one realm, and I'm not against that, you know. But the truth is, God is interested in creating what's inside of us. You know, to God, a person who doesn't love is still a lump of clay. And until we are in a agape love situation, a total love for our fellow man, which only comes through enduring hardship, then we will be created in God's eyes. That's why he said, create a new heavens and a new earth. Create in me a clean heart. David didn't say, I'm going to create me a clean heart. I'm going to get my heart clean before God. He said, create in me a clean heart.
Right.
That's one of the most profound things in the Scriptures.
That is.
Getting back to what we were saying a minute ago, we really need to understand, and I've run across this too, Joshua, what you were talking about people, you know, not being able to handle a lot of this stuff. I've noticed that a lot of people who went through religion in their life are real anti-Bible, anti-Scripture. That's religion. But the truth is, it's like I tell my son, the book isn't the problem. It's the interpretation of the book that's the problem.
Yep.
You know, you don't toss out your computer monitor because you've had a bad software program coming through it. You get a new software program.
Right.
You know, you don't get mad at the monitor and start blaming the monitor every time that somebody has taught you something through that monitor incorrectly. And that's what we're going to have to understand. Religion's portrayal of God in the Bible and what his plan is what has made man back off from God and be offended in him. The truth is that it was man's religion that was offensive. But anyway, that's some good stuff, man. It's awesome. Did you tell them we're going to be doing a lot of this?
I'm telling you this right now. You all are welcome here anytime because we are here quite a bit discussing this stuff. And I got to tell you, we are right now, we're in the shallow end of the pool. We're kind of hinting. I mean, I know I am. I'm kind of wanting to kind of race everybody to the deep end and really get into the core, you know, big things. And we're going to get there. And we are going to get there. And it's going to be a great thing. But, you know, I remember when I first learned how to swim, you know, they didn't just push me in the deep end. You know, from the very first conversations, you and I, we were swimming in the deep end because we've been living and breathing this stuff since we were fashioned and created to be here on this planet.
Exactly.
And so it's really exciting. I know I'm excited about presenting some of the things that we're going to be presenting. And some people are going to say, oh, this is going to resonate with them. And some people will be challenging, and some people are going to think that we're the devil.
Yeah.
And are going to get very hostile about this stuff, much as when Christ walked the earth and he said, you must have a devil. You're possessed.
Exactly. And that's that religious spirit that has always fought against anyone who brought truth. And that's a lot of the things we're going to be getting into. What are the purposes of those things? What was God's plan for all those things to happen, for the negatives, for why do people get that way? Well, the good news is there's a reason for it. And instead of just condemning people and not understanding them and hating them for condemning us, we're going to learn how to view people in the big picture.
Yes.
And, you know, it's real easy to get mad at somebody it's like I have a story. There's a lady in a hospital room, and she's screaming and yelling and throwing stuff and throws her urinal up against the wall and screaming at the nurse, and a guy standing outside and tells this other orderly, he says, man, that woman's a bitch. What's the deal? And